You're sitting in front. She wants it. She signed, she gave you the bank, the social, gave you everything, but she just doesn't know who to leave the money to. How do you get this thing solved in a way that will get you to the point where you can get somebody named as the beneficiary and submitted? Thoughts from the audience here?
Can she do estate, or just list her estate or their funeral home?
Sometimes in some states, the funeral homes are not acceptable, and some carriers too. I mean, for me, here's what I would suggest. Do something, right? Fiance, they won't accept boyfriend, is what we're trying to say between the lines on the application, but they will accept fiance. So put that down. Or if they don't want, she don't want to do that because, whatever, then name one of the grandkids. Because here's the thing. What you want to tell them if they're indecisive, say, hey, look, let's go ahead and do this. Let's just put down your first grandchild, right? Once your policy is approved, then what we'll do is we'll get a beneficiary change form, and then you can change the beneficiary to whomever you want to, or all of the kids or whatever. But the important thing is you're healthy today. You need this today. So let's get this done today. Who do you want to name as the beneficiary? Does it make sense, everybody? You got to get the car across the finish line, right? You got to get the ball across the finish line, excuse me. And in those instances are where we want to make sure that we go all the way. So Mel says, ask who is going to take charge in making final arrangements, right? Yeah, so you want to help them make that decision, right? You know how we talk about at the close that you are the, how do you say, you're not an unwelcomed pest anymore. You're a welcomed guest. In other words, you're an advisor to the client. You can help them make decisions. They want you to, right? And this is a micro decision that comes along with the ultimate decision of buying and committing, right? So take that, charge and leadership and tell them, so, who do you trust the most? Okay, name that person as the primary beneficiary. Sleep on it. If things change, you'll get your policy and a beneficiary change form. Well, I'll help you fix it later. But in the meantime, we got to get you covered, right? You got a problem. And paying the premium, getting this thing out is the way you solve it. We can change the details later. Most people will be like, okay, cool. Remember, what are our clients? Class, world-class procrastinators, right? Yeah. Don't give them any rope to keep that up. You got to help them decide today all the way, not just halfway. Remember, the prime directive here is to close all business on the first call, right? Are there exceptions to the rule? Sure. But there are exceptions to rules. It's not the rule. The rule is you close everything on the first call, right? So you need to have that attitude with everything. Even when you get a little pushback, you need to think, okay, Dave says, I need to close business today. Well, how do I do that? Despite this kind of pushback. So the first example was the beneficiary, right? Another example that you get sometimes is, well, I don't know exactly how much coverage I want. I don't know if I should get the 10 or the 15,000, right? So in that case, if somebody's hung up on the amount of coverage and you've tried to go back and forth a little bit with them on it, then just tell them to commit to the least expensive option. You can always add more later. Again, a lot of people think they can only have one policy, and they need to be reminded that, hey, this is just a starter plan if you want to make it that way. And we'll come back in 6 or 12 months, look at your budget and add more later, because something's better than nothing, right? So that's something that happens at the close that you want to be prepared for, that people kind of have hangups on. Okay. So those are probably the biggest things where people will say they agree, and they probably do, but they're kind of indecisive as to either the amount or the beneficiary, that kind of thing.